Okay, before I start into this question, I'm just going to do two examples here. If, for example, I was looking for the square root of 20, but I want to simplify it but kind of keep the surds, I don't want any crazy decimals. Well, if you put it into your calculator and you get square root of 20, you don't get a good answer. But I can break that up into things I can get the square root of. So, for example, what numbers multiply to make 20? Well, 4 by 5. Square root of 4 multiplied by the square root of 5. That's all that would give me 20. Now, why does that make it simpler? Well, because the square root of 4 is just 2. So 2 root 5. And I can't make it any simpler than that because there's no good square root of 5. So I've broken square root of 20 into 2 root 5. But what if I'd chosen different factors? What if I'd chosen the square root of 10 by the square root of 2? Well, that doesn't make it any simpler because the square root of 10 doesn't have a nice square root, and neither does the square root of 2. So when you're choosing the factors of, let's say, 20, always choose factors that you can get the square root of. I couldn't get the square root of 5, but I could get the square root of 4, that's 2. So just be careful with your factors. So using that as an example, try question 5 now, please. So solutions, square root of 45. So is there any numbers I think I could put together to give me that? Well, I could break it into 15 by 3, for example. So that would be the root of 15 by the root of 3. But what I see there is the root of 15 doesn't have a nice square root. It's decimals, and I don't want decimals. And square root of 3 doesn't have one. So something else. What I could say is the square root of 9 by the square root of 5. Aha! 9 has a nice square root. The square root of 9 is 3. So I could break root 45 into 3 root 5, and I can't break that down any further. Looking at part 2, the square root of 24. As soon as my computer catches up with me. Come on. Okay, here we go. Alright, so part 2, the square root of 24. So what good numbers have a nice square root? Well, 4 does, so I could break it into the square root of 4 by the square root of 6. Square root of 4 is 2 root 6, and I can't find the square root, or I can't break up those anymore into nice square roots. So, well, like just as an example here, I could break root 6 into root 3 by root 2, but neither of those have nice square roots, so that doesn't make it any simpler. Right, part 3, the root of 63. Oopsie daisy. Ooh. Root of 63, part 3. So I need factors of root 63 that would give me nice square roots. Well, 9 by 7 would be 1. The square root of 9 is 3, so it's 3 root 7. Part 4, the square root of 200. That's a tougher one. Well, that's the square root of 100 multiplied by the square root of 2. The square root of 100 is just 10, and root 2 doesn't have a nice square root. Doesn't have a nice square root, so that'll do fine. Then I'll have part 5. Part 5 is the square root of 72. Now, that's a bit of a tougher one there, so break it down as best you can. So it's the square root of 36 by the square root of 2. Oh, and how do I know what numbers to pick? To be honest with you, it's just habit. I'm sorry, this thing has appeared and I don't know how to get rid of it. Go away. Go away. There we go. Oh, how do you know what numbers to pick? Well, it's just practice, really, and experience. So square root of 36 is 6 root 2, and neither of those can be made much simpler. And the last one then we have is the square root of 8. So the square root of 8, well, that'll be the square root of 4 by the square root of 2, and of course the square root of 2 is 2, so it's 2 root 2.